of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the meeting to order. Approval of today's or this evening's agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
All in favor? All right, we have approval of the minutes from the June 16th, 2025 meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Good job, Alex. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Moving on to Town Park Improvement Project Phase 2. Project plans and documentation.
Yeah, obviously, you all know the LWCF has been canceled for this year. So I spoke with Mike Reese from Sawyer Group to get an idea if we wanted to kind of have some shovel-ready projects on the shelf ready to go and what that cost would be. Obviously, we'd still be looking for grants and everything, but instead of kind of having that one lump, our payment with a grant, we would kind of be, each little section would have its own payment if we found a grant. So just some ballpark figures, to do like the pickleball, the construction estimate was $140,000 just for the pickleball courts. And then $2,000 for a survey and $10,000 for design. So that would be $12,000 what we would have to pay to kind of have that on the shelf, shovel ready project to potentially look for a grant for out of pocket. The trail was going to be $120,000 roughly to construct with no survey. He thought they can do it with an aerial, and then $7,000 for design and construction.
Which one is this?
The trail. And then the new ball field would have been $230,000 construction cost with a $4,000 survey and a $15,000 design and construction cost. So our cost would be for the pickleball would be $12,000 if we found a grant to cover the rest of that $140,000. For the trail, it would be $7,000, and then try to find a grant to cover the rest of the $120,000. And then for the new ball fields, would be $19,000. Of course, trying to find a grant to cover the rest of the $230,000. But those are just some numbers for you guys to kind of chew on and see if that's something we want to do, or do we just want to hold off, wait, see for next year, and try to do it all in one lump big project.
This is supposed to be back in action next year, right?
They're hoping so.
It's already July, end of July, so.
Yeah,
Season's coming around.
right.
Yeah, say it, right? I mean,
And this gives us a chance too to sort of shift the focus of our efforts on our comp plan. We are yet to do the rest of this year. I got downtown stuff. There's still the sidewalk program, the cemetery stuff that Joe and I are working on that we would, it'd be nice to ramp that up as opposed to focusing
adding
on
more stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think maybe if we come into January, February of next year, it still looks maybe tentative for the LWCF to restart, then maybe we can kind of take a harder look at that point, go, okay, what do we really want to focus on this year instead of taking yet another year off of those park projects, and cross that bridge then, I think.
So also we will work on, just like we're working on budget, and we're going to talk about this, spending plan projects for 26. You know, we'll be looking after, I like the sort of order of operations of after we get our tax funds budget put together. By the end of September, it's public hearing approved. Then we start working on the spending plan for our redevelopment commission. And, you know, by that time, we could even look closer at our plan to see, you know, what else is in there. If there's some things we change our mind about between now and the end of the year on the park side, then we can budget in, because we didn't really budget our match for this LWCF project. It wasn't budgeted in there. We didn't even finish paying for the other one. And we sort of jumped on and said, yeah, let's do it. You know, we've got this time period. So it's almost a blessing insofar as we can take a closer look and not necessarily, you know, we've got 5,000 into a portion of an application, the PO in here to approve for on the redevelopment side. We've got 5K into an application that's somewhat, thrown together, not necessarily thrown together, but not,
Started.
yeah, for sure.
Well, the other side of this too, by us gaining another year, we're making another 80 to 100,000 in our account, so that also helps us.
Yes.
Helps a lot.
Yep.
Now, our 500,000 could be a 600,000,
Yeah.
or.
Yep.
Whatever,
And
it
my
was
thought-
300,000, it was starting at 350.
Right.
Now we're at 500, so.
And my
Yeah.
thought too is if Mike, comes to us at some point, goes, hey guys, we found a grant opportunity to cover this. It's a slam dunk. If you put it in, we can cross that bridge then.
Sure.
If the
It's
LWCF.
80, 20, 90,
Yeah,
10,
yeah.
75, 25, 50, 50, it did piecemeal too, what's most important elements of this. Weigh those in.
Yeah, I think it gives us a little more time to talk to the community too, but what ones are they interested in, or any other ideas? Who knows?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know that we did this previously in our, I think we did this previously for our last project.
Yeah.
But we may have, that was a while ago, we probably should redo that again. We also have to have a time we meet with the park board and we have all of us together again.
Yeah.
Like we planned on doing, so maybe that's coming in January, winter time, February.
Everybody's
We-
schedule slows down, we can
Yeah,
open that.
whatever month works best.
Even before we have to put the spending plan together, which is the end of
Sure.
the year, so sometime in,
And
November, late October, November, late, sometime before the end of the year, because we want to have to, or we want to get that document together.
I think at that time we need to talk about what's the park board's buy-in as well. Well, that's something, you brought up, I think, was, they used to do fundraisers, there used to be things that they did to generate money for this kind of stuff too. I mean, as they can tell, we're all in building this park thing up, so like, we'll take every dollar we can as far as matching, that we can fundraise.
And we'd love to see them start kind of checking off some of these boxes of some of the small projects. We're not looking for them to raise, $100,000 for a project, but if there's something small that we can take off the list that helps to the greater good, that's obviously.
I mean, flowers would just be one, like flowers planted every year. Or, just something for beautification or something. I mean, yeah, there's something they could do for $5,000 or under 5,000 even that could really make things pop down there. Yeah, even like the signage thing, like I think we did that too.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, so like those type of projects could be something they're taking on as well. And maybe it's just because we need to communicate and let them know that we don't want to be in charge of the park. I want to do everything out there, so. It's the right or wrong answer, but I know we talked about cameras too. So that's another thing.
Oh, that's good.
That's somehow something maybe they do. Or
We,
they're,
I looked into some smaller playground implements on that south side
yeah,
to try to start working that into it. And, obviously they're expensive, but they're not $100,000 expensive. They're, we've seen them anywhere from 15,000 to 25 to 30. It gets a nice playground piece over there. That would be
Sure.
kind of a statement piece. Maybe that's something that they can work to. Maybe
Some of
it's-
those things we can install too, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't have to have a Troy or somebody.
Day of
install it, right?
giving, after they put in the
Yeah.
surfacing, or we put it in the ground, and then we talk about surfacing, whether it's fiber mulch or
Yeah.
whatever, but yeah, it's one of those where they come in and I remember we did it at Valparaiso when they changed it out. So people, Family Express bought all the food and drinks and everything, and another contractor had a tent set up, seats, and people had to sign jobs, from one end of that place to the other. Everything was done in 2 days.
I'm seeing it. Okay, nothing else with that.
Yeah.
Moving on, 2025 redevelopment master plan and spending plan projects, kind of stuff about that.
Yeah, I mentioned the 3 or 4 projects we have outstanding, banners or another one we've got, getting all the, Joe and I are gonna get those put together and ordered from that company.
I'm working on getting off your list.
Good order from
I got thanks, Eric.
from the company that, we get a great price on those. So I've got, decals and, imagery coming from the organizations that'll be high resolution, that we can add to that. So, Joe and I'll keep plugging away. I know it's like, as soon as we get done with this, then, we'll get to that kind of thing, but, there's no rush on a lot of these. But that's when we want to get done before the year to have ready for next year. After the lights come down, we'll move them in over the sidewalk and, make them a little bigger.
Okay, and I'm looking at the bank statement here. How often, we're still paying for that fire truck, redevelopment commission money back?
Yes, I just made a copy of that. Yeah, it's by December 31st every year. I just made a copy of the front page of that ordinance to put it in with the billing next time. Yep. Yeah, and you can see where we're at.
How much is that payment, you know?
1385.
And that's just once a year.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll come in from the seeded funds into this. And it's, so, yeah, that would essentially make it 1.765 or so, 63,
Isn't that what, that's not what, I thought, what is that?
yeah, 15,000 a year for 10 years.
100-year loan?
10-year loan.
5,000
It's just
year loan, it
multiples of 10.
Yeah, it's 10 years.
Should have probably figured out that $20 with that, right?
You did it.
I know, that's what I'm saying, right here.
We're 3 years in, 7 more years.
Not a lot of money. What was the jetback? What was that? Wasn't that like?
330,000.
Yeah, but it was like a massive payment. What I'm saying.
Yeah, like 48 a year.
That's a big difference there.
Makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Moving on then, additional business being met there by the council. Eric, do you have anything
I do
tonight?
not.
Alex Winbigler,
You're not.
Mrs. Linda Banks,
Ms.
Ms. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Like MS.
I've got PO 2831 to Troyer Group for the services on the LWCF project. Through June 6, 2025, in the amount of $5,965.
Make a motion, we pay PO 2831.
Second it.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Miss Linda Banks, nothing? Nothing. Thank you. I'm gonna have anything else.
Motion to adjourn.
Second it.
All in favor? Down. One to go. Hey, Bill. You're here.
Yeah. He cut me last couple times.
Yeah.
Supposed to get more later this week.
All right.
There's no oh, good thing. Nice though. Yeah. Or something. Yeah, probably.
And then technology just, I mean, it's a crowd, and that's not nothing new.
Let's see it.
Guys, pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Called the order, we have approval of tonight's agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have approval of the minutes from the July 7th, 2025 regular meeting.
Make a motion to approve those minutes.
All in favor? Okay. Okay, moving on to old business, council schedule of fees, 2025 update.
Town schedule fees update. So we can pretty much wrap these two up into one bow here. But we'll talk about the schedule fees first. So we need to decide on some time to meet here soon. I would say after or at the same time as, and it's easier in smaller groups. I know when we talk about budget stuff, that's why I say we could wrap these two together. Joe and I tomorrow are going to meet with our department heads tomorrow afternoon to put together these put together the Form 1s, which are these babies here. We see these every year. And so we look at 23 actual, 24 actual, what we budgeted in 25, and then we discuss 26. And throughout that process, I sent out an appropriation report earlier, and I included a fund report in your documentation for this purpose. It's the fund report is one side of it. The fund report shows receipts and disbursements throughout the year. So we've got our starting balance, year-to-date receipts and disbursements, balance at the beginning of the month, and then revenue and disbursements throughout the month. And this is a 1/1 to 6/30, so halfway through the year. We did the same with the appropriation report, and we'll see where we're overspent. Why are we overspent? Fuel costs went up one year, phone charges, different plan. So we see things fluctuate between, we're underspent by, we've only spent 25% of the budget halfway through the year this year. Okay, well, that doesn't necessarily mean we need to slash it entirely, but we may want to, if we know what could forecast what our plan is going to be next year, we can shave off some costs there, knowing we're only going to spend X, Y, or Z. So those are the discussions Joe and I have with department heads about budgeting items for next year. And I think it would be valuable after that, whether it's, and it's essentially 2 meetings, but if other council members are able to come tomorrow, I think we're going to start at about 2:00 tomorrow. I don't remember what I told you, but we have it scheduled for tomorrow. So if any council members are available, I think after that, it's valuable to go. We're going to give all that to Baker Tilly. They look at our data based on first 6 months of this year, projected revenues throughout the next 6 months, and then projected revenues that'll affect the same time next year. And with what we propose in these Form 1s that we're going to need to spend. So if there's a time we can maybe meet with council members to go through some of these numbers, if we want to meet as a group, that's fine. Like I said, smaller and smaller.
Exactly the same fees that we're doing with Todd, correct?
Easier. Well, this is part of that. So we're meeting about the budget. I sort of switched the order of these. Yeah. So my thought was that we could, and it's not going to be a lengthy discussion. So if there's a couple council members who are able to come to discuss the budget with Joe and I, we can discuss fees at the same time. And then at the next meeting, we could present sort of the budget as it is. And when we decide to pass it in September, public hearing and adoption, we can also fold the schedule of fees into that. And then we just propose those adjustments that were discussed to the council at the next meeting. And if there's any thoughts, we make any changes, and then we publicize the whole process, the public hearing, the notification of paper, then the public hearing, and then the adoption 2 weeks after that. And then we publicize it again, the actual what's passed. And 30 days after that, they'll go into effect. So that's the timeline. We're parallel with the budget, how long it sort of takes with different avenues, but it's still going to take a month and a half, 2 months. So with the size of our fee ordinance not being enormous, we're not talking about water and sewer, our labor costs are there, our fees and permits and building inspect, that kind of thing. That's all part of that. Most of it is the numbers have been adjusted. In theory, we'll entertain that with council members. I know our previous building inspector did the due diligence of checking all neighboring cities and towns for their fees for similar services and permitting, and it's equivalent to that. So it's basically updating the portion that includes, permit fees, labor costs, all out for utility services, not necessarily utility services, but a backhoe, labor, after hours, that kind of stuff. Those. So my thought was that if there are, council members in the next. So Joe and I are going to try to get the Form 1s wrapped up by Wednesday to get to Baker Tilly. And then whether it's Thursday, Friday, or that next Monday, if we could carve out some time with a couple council members to come in and discuss with a couple of us, it's easier to meet than with everybody schedule wise. But if we want to host a special meeting to discuss it, budgets, we always discuss in a public meeting, unless it's just the department liaison.
How many things do you think we're talking about that we need to review?
I would say it would take half hour at the most. It's the first 2 or 3 pages of the ordinance, which we look at every day in a feed book, but it's got all of our water and sewer rates in there too. That's
I
the,
think we've had copies of that.
that's the bulk you have. Yes, that's why I stopped making, because you got it in past packets. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So if we can even coordinate this, tomorrow, if everybody wants to look at their schedule and see when they might have some time, and I'm down for anytime really, whether it's, you know, you guys, somebody's available during the afternoon or the evening, whatever, I can make it work. And I think wrapping those two up with a couple council members at least, then we can catch up with the others to say, here's the proposed, we'll, you know, present these at the next meeting, and then Baker Tilly will be getting us our budget book back after they do all their analysis. So,
Okay. Why don't you reach out and then we can kind of.
yep, we'll coordinate from there. We'll get the legwork done tomorrow though, based on Joe and I's.
Budget form ones, we basically get all that.
That's exactly, yep, that's why I say
Just react to
those two, yep.
Okay, new business, we have no new business tonight. Okay, they can anything. Yeah, please.
Joe, anything to add on that budget process? No.
Thank you very much. Got recognition tonight. Number one on the list is Anita Gooden.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Donna Henry.
Just that our next Mint festival meeting is next week, July 29th at 6 o'clock. And you're okay?
I'm here.
Very good.
I'll send you the invoice.
Pardon me?
I'll send you the invoice. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's probably so much easier to have it here. Yeah.
Good. Okay, Mr. Ramp, you're on here as well, Mr. William Ramp.
Nothing unless I'm good talk shop.
Nothing.
I see we're now on television.
Yeah, we're taking your picture, yes. All right, very good. Moving on to department reports. Department Treasurer, Andrew, if you're ready.
Like I mentioned, I emailed out the appropriation report so you can see where we're at halfway through the year on that. We've also got a couple of special event permits. I've got Hope Restored Harvest Hustle 5K, October 4th, 2025. Looks like Norwayne Field area. And Main Street from Highway 10 to start a bike trail from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So basically Main Street.
They'll coordinate with the.
I was just
police
gonna
department.
say, yep, clean up the volunteer, the event will be
Don't
hosted at
last
Norway.
year.
I know we've got coordination between, so live music, food trucks, basement,
Yeah,
Don's house,
Cheesecake.
Wasn't the year before.
6 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Year before. You were here. You were.
Yeah, nothing was.
Electrical. He was doing electrical or something.
Thinking you're George. Towing cars.
All right, very good.
So I've got, that's number one. Number two is Woody's Wiener Wagon. Kimberly Woods, would like to possibly in Norway in the splash pad area. And I've got a call to Megan and, wanted to mention it to the council. So, this is a veteran, which, there's a law out there about, fees for peddler license. Them being exempt. So that's part A. Part B is just to make sure she's in good. I know we host food trucks out there routinely, just to make sure they're covered under, you know, liability insurance covering them before they go operating in this area. And I, you know, a small footprint, just would like to I said it would take, you know, normally we do a special event permit or something like that, unless they're on private property. She mentioned already having contact with property owners in certain areas that she could operate on their premises. And I said, you know, there's not much, you're not peddling something in motion or door to door. So it wouldn't necessarily, and that's why I recommend a special event. If she wanted to go set up there, the fee would be waived, but I still put it to you for any thoughts of.
She has her own insurance?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
she would be insured.
There's no dates though. She doesn't know.
Right, and that was just and that was another question would be, you know, we limit it to, you know, one weekend a month or one evening, that kind of, I'm not sure whether,
What,
Or
don't
not.
we have something on that? I think, for food trucks. Like someone just can't pop up and I think do a food truck in our ordinance. Some towns. have.
not on, we don't have anything in place around food
Yeah,
trucks that I'm aware
so
of.
some, not says that.
Yeah.
Food truck runs full time.
Yeah. They have an order.
Yeah, the ordinance
Yeah.
that's because there is a business on the road there that has a food truck in their yard on their premises and they sell from that. So that's, that caused, I think, a little bit of a.
Thought we just, any food truck that was operating in North Judson had to go through Stark County and make sure they're in good standing with the health inspector and be permitted that way. I know that's what we've gone through some of the.
Yeah,
other
every
ones.
county has their own, they have to get their own certification in
Yeah.
every county, right?
But what I'm saying, I don't know, like, if they wanted to set up permanently somewhere.
Yeah, are they zoned for it? But it's
Exactly,
mobile,
because
so
the
we
reason
can-
is because business owners, let's just say, the point. Who pays taxes and does all their business year round from that standalone business. Where if you just go buy a food truck plant from the yard, somebody's yard, you pay those paying taxes and all that stuff, so.
I want to say through the county, they had a rule in that, they had to be pulled out every night, restocked, sanitized, then brought back. It, very similar to what the coffee shop was going through. I know
Yeah.
they were going through some stuff with the county that they just couldn't set up permanent. They're supposed to be moving out daily.
I don't know, this.
And this isn't something she's gonna do every
Exactly,
day.
right,
She's
right,
not,
so
but
this is
a
probably
bigger
just a whole other
discussion.
conversation, yeah, right.
But it's necessary because
But-
there's,
Yeah, because there is no date, and this is for a SEPA, there's always a date, there's a.
That's what I was gonna say, I think we see more information.
um,
So, but they are just like all the other. Well, as long as they're,
yes, as a
Stand-
peddler. So yeah. as a
exactly, just like
peddler.
all the other ones that do business in town, like, Darlene's Taste of
Yes,
whatever.
yes.
Yeah.
Checks.
And, I guess it would be incumbent upon her to get, some dates to us, but if there was, okay, so this is all, sort of in preparation, people wanting to do this, so
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I'll just let her know we would need specific dates, but we know that, the fee is waived. And, it's just acquiring that insurance documentation.
Yeah, and you said it doesn't go through peddlers because that's made for military veterans. I didn't know that. That's actually, that's cool.
Yeah.
I just didn't
Yeah.
know that. Yeah.
Yep, I didn't realize that either.
Okay, do we have a motion for these two? Well, just, we're not really approving this.
No, no.
These two,
Well, we would need dates to approve it if they
The
want.
hope restored, we can.
yeah.
Yeah. Dates and insurance, if they wanted to do it at the splash pad or the park or wherever, they need dates
That really would be only on our premises, the town property, right?
that we would approve. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
let's do it
Which the
somewhere else.
splash pad makes sense.
That's
it would
nice of
be-
them to have given us all that information. Just to see what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. And I think it's like, if you go hold the library, it's maybe a quicker thing if there's a little part in their lot or something, or. Yeah, or if she's across the street somewhere, the bank says, hey, could I take a parking spot up, that kind of thing, but being able to go to a splash pad on the little grass area, that eliminates any kids crossing traffic or crossing their parking lot. So I'll just ask her for some dates and we can entertain that.
I will make a motion though, we approve the special event permit for Hope Restored and waive the fee.
A second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Let them know. And you'll, go and Frank will coordinate with the barricade stuff, mainly Frank and Kim.
You got that date written down there? Barricades, October 4th?
Won't be here.
Somebody will be.
Won't be here, neither will your cones, by the looks of it.
Once Anthony returns my cones, then we'll discuss them.
Yeah, barricades, okay. Behind the shed over there.
You got your cones? Where are my cones?
Mhm.
No, I don't have any of them. I just know that she was, complaining about losing some cones. I get it. And then somebody stole them from Sherry and Sheridan. And then your cones, I think, are right there in Norway. Can I get those? Yeah. Go pick them up anytime. They're right there by the cemetery and where you pull them back. So John, if you want to set that out front, we'll just hold on to that for the next meeting.
All in there.
Thank you.
Yep, moving on. You got anything else?
Just get started. I've got a uniform conflict of interest disclosure. This is for Doug Wiley through the school. Their year turns over 7/1. So the conflict is requested approval of this disclosure statement. Request your,
You want to find something here?
yeah, there's a spot there at the page 3, I think.
All
it
of us
is.
have to sign it?
Page 2, probably.
No, page 2, right in the middle, yep. Elected official, yeah, make sure,
Says your
they
name.
put clerk treasurer in there, but you guys can go ahead and sign,
Okay.
yeah. And then leave the bottom line, I'll sign that one if that's what they want as well, we'll have everybody.
Okay.
You need some sort of motion on that?
Yes,
Accept it.
yes,
Make a motion, we accept the conflict of interest form from Doug Wiley for the school board.
I second it.
All in favor?
okay. I'm a little late to the game, but approval here of the council regular meeting schedule throughout the rest of the year. I'd like to send these to the publications. And I missed it at the beginning of the year evidently, but we've got the second half of the year here with our dates and Tuesday in September. Noted that we'll be holding that on a Tuesday. If you guys wouldn't mind approving that tentative regular meeting schedule.
I'll make a motion, we approve the meeting schedule for the rest of 2025.
Second it.
All in favor?
I'll send that out, Anita, that we guys got it. It's known, of course, established. Okay, who's second that, Alex or Linda? Peterson Consulting Services, it's that time of year where we establish our next year's annual financial reporting requirements of the GASB statement 34 of our capital assets, data, rights of way, roads, streets, streetlights, land, buildings, land improvements, equipment, vehicles, water assets, and sewer assets. This would be a professional services agreement in the amount of $3,450. I don't think that's a big change from last year. I think that's pretty consistent over the last 5 to 6 years, actually. Joe and I do the due diligence of going out. Joe goes out, checks everything. And then on our cut up copy, we put all of our updates and retirements, additions, retirements, changes that we may have seen on that document that goes and informs our overall dollars reported and assets reported for our 2026 annual financial report to the State Board of Accounts and the Department of Local Government Finance. So we need
Like a motion to move forward.
yep, approve that agreement. Yep. Sure.
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement with Peterson Consulting Services for our capital asset reporting.
All in favor?
Thanks, Eric and Alex, everybody. Just a couple notes. Our State Board of Accounts, in their email, it said 3 weeks. It's actually, we're looking at sometime in September. There is an upcoming chamber golf outing. We've got 3 spots filled. We hear from Alex on that. We'd like to have a team this year to represent the town as a member of the chamber out there. Building inspector temporarily, Nick Radke did mention that if we needed any assistance with any our previous building inspector, he mentioned he would fill in if needed to in a pinch. We could give him a call. And then I received an email late last week from a resident about the owner occupied rehabilitation program. They needed some roof work done, and their low income individuals need some roof work done, some bathroom stuff, and then attic work. And after looking it up and Joe and I talking it to death to talk ourselves into why we were tentatively staying away from those programs. We weren't staying away from them. After digging a little bit, we realized that our low income eligibility numbers, low income, I forget what it was, low to moderate income. We normally have to be over 50%, which is how we got the Okra water planning grant. We got a bunch of other grants, early on when I was here. Well, after the 2016 to 20 numbers came out from the federal and state government, and we have to be over 50% low to moderate income. That number is 43.5 now, with an 8.5% variance. So if you factor in the 8.5%, we're low to moderate income, but that's not the way it works. In order for us to get an accurate assessment and to basically prove or establish that we have over 50% low to moderate income, we have to do an income survey. Well, we're working with Kirksey already on a comp plan. And I let the individual know that, we keep that in mind. She was appreciative of all the digging I did. And I did do a lot of research on it today just to figure out all the ins and outs. Not only that, but the timeline for third quarter grant submissions would be too quick. We have to have a public hearing, letter of intent by August 1st, and then it's due by August 15th. So it wasn't going to work anyway, but those numbers of low to moderate income are what's holding us back from those kind of grants. And I think, in the years to come, that's something we could definitely take advantage of for facades, and these home rehabilitations for people. This is an effort to update and keep aging housing stocks from dwindling and it becoming a thing where it costs too much to fix, a foundation issue, a roofing issue, or whatever, and we have to condemn the place. It's better to go in and rehabilitate with grant funding, and it's a 90-10, so it's only 10%. So if it was, there were people, we found enough people part of the process to garner enough interest from applicants. Say you got 250,000, that's only 25,000 to get 250,000 worth of homework done in town. So something to keep in mind in the future. And I know part of another project was a low income survey. So we could hopefully maybe expedite that within the next 8 to 12 months, hopefully. See about getting that done, see where we're at and what we're eligible for. And it's a quarterly thing, so it's not a big drawn out process. But that's it for that.
Okay. You're all good?
Thank you.
Moving on, school board. I haven't heard nothing.
Just the conflict of interest. Yep.
Great. Building inspector, we have anything with that tonight?
Now we've had a couple interested folks call and looking for more information. The first gentleman, he stopped in last week, was very interested, but once we told him that it was only a part-time position, not full-time, then he lost interest after that. And we did hear from a gal this morning that was going to be putting in a resume. So
Very good.
that's it.
Okay. Code enforcement?
There were some different people, on some different, problems that we have. Need some help with the building commissioner stuff, with that whole deal. Probably talked to 20-25 different people in the last 30 days and different things that we sometimes down the street from Linda here at where's this? 408 color on the corner there, that house that's all around trees, and it's people think they're weeds, but they're those nasty little sassafras trees that grow like 3 feet a week. You know what I mean? And then people just have this problem of just leaving those be because they're trees. Well, they're trees, but they don't belong there. You know what I mean? And so it just gets so out of control. You know which one I'm talking about? You can see it from your front porch. So I got with that guy, even though the house is sold, in the process of being sold or whatever. And so if you notice, they got a lot of that stuff done and piled up. Now Kim just picked stuff up. But yeah, just perpetual
A lot of vegetation.
yeah. And then with this recent rain that we've had in the last 48 hours or whatever it is, I expect to see a lot of big growth here in the next week. And I'm talking to some people that you can clearly see it's just been normal for years of just neglect with those kinds of trees, and they become like the sidewalk to them. So I'm making little bites out of those people, like, hey, can we, I don't want to get an argument with people, but it's like a weed, it's a tree. you don't want it there. We don't want to see it. It doesn't look good. So trying to be nice and work with a bunch of people on that.
I'm working on mine, Frank.
Bill's always working on his.
Mowing lanes. There's a couple, I'll give you the address, you and Karen, I can work on getting.
I
those
did
letters
notice
out.
The
sidewalk. Go ahead.
that 805 West Palmer that's been under the bank for a while with the coming into town with the garage tilted. So those guys finally, the bank finally got the people in there and picked up all that rubbish and stuff like that. So that's cleaned up. So that's nice.
It's a lot better coming into town.
The other in town, almost same place. The old red 2-story there next to the soccer field. Catherine's place there next to the
Doctor's office.
doctor's office. I've been working with her since we started. She made some progress, and then all of a sudden stuff threw up out in the yard again. And basically I went there this week and I'm done kind of working with you. We're gonna play hardball now. And at the end of the day, tickets don't do anything for her. She doesn't pay her water bill. She doesn't pay her electric bill. So the dollar ticket means nothing to her. I told her that we are going to start because of the living conditions and what I've found out about how things are going there. This thing we started with High Street with Bernice Witt. I think we're gonna have to start a process like that. Unfortunately, and her response basically is you do what you gotta do because the sky will provide. So
Good.
when you're dealing with stuff like that, there's not much I can do.
Mhm.
I know working with Frank with the High Street situation, we've done the inspection warrant. I met with Justin last week, got him the file for all the pictures didn't go through when Todd had sent them earlier. So we got them all on flash drive, got them to Justin. It's right now it's in the court's hands to kind of see what the next step is if they're going to, where it goes. So as we tell people, we like things to move a little quicker, obviously ourselves, but we have to utilize the processes at hand, and unfortunately sometimes it takes time. So but yeah, I know working with Frank, he's been following up on a lot of these, and I know we've gotten a couple complaints about some of those containers and things like that. I know Frank reached back out to them to let them know that the next step this week was their time was up. Should have had him out here, and
Yeah, I got with Harry Tolson. He's supposedly made some arrangements for another place for that thing. So a couple days to get that kind of lined up. So we're just gonna have to start playing hardball and start latching on to things and pulling them out. At the end of the day, if we want stuff gone, we're gonna have to do it ourselves.
We did that once in the corner.
Yeah. And it seems like, for every person that doesn't want to abide by the ordinances, we have a homeowner like the Jones Street. As soon as they got the unsafe letter, that they contacted me last week. They've been working with Frank, just wanting to keep us in the loop. Hey, we're taking down trees. We've got a roof contractor coming over to fix the roof. We're looking to get it to here so we can put it up for sale. Those are
What we want, the opposite of entitlement.
yeah. Everyone that we have that doesn't care, we have one that as soon as they get it, okay, we're working on it. We're gonna keep you in the loop and get to where we need to go. So
Speaking of Jones, even the one at the Jones and Vine Street, you can actually see the sidewalk there now. Do you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
There's an actual sidewalk. They
Yeah.
ripped out all that. Now I'm concerned with that wall maybe, but still you can actually walk up and down that hill now. I mean, they'll do that for years.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We're in that, it's all overgrown through there.
Yeah, and a bunch of those kind of trees again too. And they got
just went through and
rid of
zipped them all off
weed
the edge
trees.
there. Now you can walk up and down there, yeah.
I met the people, they're really nice.
Good. That's awesome. Okay, anything else with code enforcement?
Not really.
I have a question, Frank. I don't know the name of the street, but it's the one I went down is on the far end of the rail yard. And Arlington's on the other side. You're going at Cross Street. There's a house that's in the back. It looks like it's falling down.
Bill, you're not gonna sit here and complain about other people's properties, are you?
No.
Okay.
I haven't noticed that.
Okay. All right. I appreciate
Well, because I'll be really be on your list.
it. Yeah. That car's got a flat again.
I know we pumped it up, but I thought we'd pump it up again.
Best way to find properties is to issue a ticket, because that person
I
normally.
see that time
sees
moved that
5 others.
Cadillac on, behind George Street. We served for like 5 years.
Mhm.
All right, unsafe hearing, anything with that? Andrew?
Not at the moment. We
Wednesday.
may have stuff as the
Yeah.
process unfolds through courts and that.
BZA Planning Commission,
Nothing at the moment.
Redevelopment Commission,
We could look to the second meeting in,
second meeting in August.
or yeah, well, we can tentatively schedule that for that. We don't have to put a time or anything. We can
Okay,
clarify that at our first meeting in
that
August.
sounds great.
Especially, we may skip a month, especially if we have budget and, fee schedule stuff coming up that we want to meet about. We may just forego RDC for a whole
Yeah.
month.
Park Board. Oh, nobody from the Park Board.
Haven't heard anything.
Nothing else to discuss tonight. Still the same group. We have one coming in, one going out.
Scott Pagers is, appointment is up in January 1st, so.
Okay. Police,
The last 30 days, 450 calls for service. We had 6 assist other agencies, 122 business checks overnight, 90 extra patrol for different places where the guys have found 6 open doors that shouldn't have been open. Doing those extra patrols and those kind of things, you know, we're preemptively preventing problems. So that's good stuff. A lot of medical calls this go around, 13 medical calls. 7 accidents, which is really double the normal number. And gosh, I think if we added up the helicopters, we're probably at 5 helicopters in the last 30 days. 2 weeks, yeah.
They're 2 in a day.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 in a day.
3 in one. Yeah. So a lot of that kind of stuff. A lot of the typical stuff. There's been some extra, probably because of the weather, but been some extra suspicious circumstances, suspicious cars, suspicious people that are getting called in that we're investigating. 3 suicidal calls, a couple shoplifters to deal with. It's just some of the more normal things. I was going to bring up either this or in the code enforcement, some thoughts or questions about businesses operating out of homes and where we draw the line and what that looks like. Because I frankly don't know, and what we've been doing in the past. Well, let's use Main Street, for example. You know, across the tracks when they were over there, they're kind of out of sight, out of mind. They had a big space back there where they were able to keep some of their equipment. Never really drummed up any complaints or problems. Now all of a sudden they're living on Sycamore, and they've got all kinds of vehicles out. They've got all kinds of equipment out. They've got all kinds of stuff out. It's a business, but it's a residential, right? Residential neighborhood. So this is something I think we need to probably maybe narrow down some rules if we don't have them already on the books. You know, shame on me for not knowing what they are right now, but I just don't, because we have several of these kinds of things. Harry Folsom and the stuff that's going on with them. So I think you know, not next week or the week after, but at some point we need to kind of streamline what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, because you know, it's becoming a problem, I think.
If we don't work with Justin, to view with our books,
Yeah.
and then also see what other cities and towns have done.
Yeah.
Because it gets to be a zoning thing, but then it also gets to be a, you know, property tax. It's a home and an outbuilding. That's not taxed as a commercial business. So it's not established as a commercial business. So if you've got that zoning map up there, there are only certain areas of town in which you can operate a business unless you have a variance from zoning standards. So a good Justin question.
Yeah. And then the last thing I would say, and it's not super relevant, but sort of moving forward with this budget hearings or budget stuff that's coming up, and getting clothing and things like that for the guys. So when you get hired on the police department, every year you get a clothing allowance. I don't need to tell you guys that the numbers have changed. So 14 years ago, when I first got hired, that budget was, or that allotment for every officer was $500 a year to replace shirts, shoes, belts, watches, stuff that gets tore up or whatever. And we have not changed that number. So I'm gonna implement a change to that for this stuff coming up. Just pure common sense. I mean, $500 14 years ago is not $500 today.
Shirts and stuff I know are super expensive and stuff
Adam-
like that, so.
Adam just went to Star the other day to get this last little piece that he wanted for the academy. And the normal the button down shirt that we wear daily is $95. So another thing I want to do, and I'll talk with Andrew about this, kind of a separate deal, like we don't need to pay Star $95. I can get these from other, police outfit places for $65. And I'm gonna work on getting with a local person down in Winnemac to do the embroidery and stuff like that. Save us the trips to Star. I mean, it's just they're just taking us over the coals with these prices.
Sure, and the trip and the change and then.
Yeah.
So we have changed our budget. One year we went from 9,000 to 11,374. And then we came back down the next year. So it's all a matter of,
That's-
the
those are-
boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And what is actually budgeted and how it's used
Right.
best. If one year you buy 6 of these, the next year you buy 6 of the long sleeve, how long are they gonna last you? Well,
Right.
you can mix and
And I
match.
always wondered
You know.
too, in the past, how much we actually paid attention to what we needed and what we bought.
And
So I think that's a huge factor,
absolutely, yeah.
especially with a larger budget of.
You could go out now and almost for 4 people, have it to a penny in a
Sure,
sense,
right,
you
yeah,
know.
once you get the. Even if you have 4 full-time employees, and there's limit involved, you still could do it with the.
Yeah.
3 that are
So
here.
I think, and that's something maybe, for this conversation for tomorrow, but like the
Exactly.
numbers that he's telling me right there, like, I don't know those, I don't know those numbers. I know that I've always been told here, you've got $500 to spend, so my boots are almost $200. There's a big chunk, at the beginning of the year, and you don't buy new boots every year,
Exactly.
but almost every other year you're gonna.
Sure.
We're
So you
not,
kind of-
we're not spending 10 reserve people
Right.
buying,
So I think there's money there that we don't use or whatever the case is that we can make sure that the guys, got the things that they need, but.
it's spent properly.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. So.
Cool.
All right, I think that's it for
How
now.
about, how's the cars doing it? We haven't talked about the cars, and I don't wanna jinx you, but I haven't heard about any of these cars for about 3 months, so. everything's fine.
Yeah, I don't like to talk about things that aren't having problems either.
So no news is good news.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Any questions for Frank, anyone? Okay, moving on, fire.
Well, we've been busy the last 2 weeks too. I think we've had 10 or 12 calls one a day almost. 5 helicopters. We had a hay bale fire Saturday. Then later on in the afternoon, we had some entrapment. So we've been busy. We had our work call here a couple weeks ago. Had a nice training there. You had asked me last time how many openings we have. We have 4 openings at the moment, but we had 3 applicants come to our work call and meet the guys. So we'll vote on them on our next meeting, which is the first Thursday of August. And I think that's about it for us.
You're continually looking for that last one. Well, if you bring out 3 races.
We'll still have 1, yeah. But
Okay.
seems to be interest. I mean, I don't know.
That's good.
Pretty good.
That's probably not every time you get 3 people coming out.
Yeah.
No. No, and they all showed up and they all asked the right questions, so I think it'll be just fine personally.
Good, that's good to hear. Anybody have any questions for me? Oh, thank you. Utilities, Kim?
Everybody should have received their weekly report. We've been trying to trim some of the walking trails at the park. Got some more of the cable ran through the pillars at the park. Got a little more pea gravel spread over there. Got the new signs installed. We've been doing a lot of locates. We had 1 day 40 locates to be dumped on us. We had to do some paint cleaning out of the waste plant because one clarifier is throwing bits. Back to the park, we got the new sewer lateral ran up to the road. We just now gotta cut the road open, so we'll have the road closed for a couple of days until we get that all tied in, and at the same time, we're gonna run up the stub for Hagen's new duplex. 2 POs, PO 2839 to utility supply for the sewer pipe for the park, $1,403.76. PO 2843 to BL Anderson for plant SCADA renewal for the waste plant for $1,800.
Motion we pay POs 2839 and 2843.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What else you got for us, Kim? You're fully staffed.
Fully staffed.
For Higgins putting those new ones right next to it, right? What that wood used to be, right? Where you cleaned it out. Yeah.
No, beside that one on George.
Inside, I think.
He changed his plans. He's now doing a duplex right beside the one on George. So right across from the Hill Garage. And that block that's open from the original duplex to the alleys where he's putting that.
That's tiny. There must be more room there than I know.
It's, yeah, you know, but up to this, you know, from the alley a bit, but it doesn't look like it, but it's basically a carbon copy of the same one
Yeah.
next to it.
Yeah.
There must be more room.
The
there.
space
Cleared a lot of it out.
Visualizing.
Yeah, I know. I had
remember
the
he
same
was doing
issue.
them inside there.
The plans was to put a triplex
Yeah.
behind though.
Right.
I guess something changed and now he's doing the duplex.
Yeah, we're gonna do duplex, so he'll have kind of a little gateway between the last one and the newest one and. And kind of butt right up to the alley.
And they'll still be effort we want to do in the back. Still
Yeah.
do one back there too. Guess you can just make the alley or road or something. Okay. Any questions for Kim Early Cop? Okay, thank you, Kim. Moving on to Joe, Town Manager.
All right, Premier will be here tomorrow to install our new sign on the town hall. So that's exciting. We've already kind of covered some of the unsafe and ordinance stuff with Frank. Start count, I got some quotes for the windows down here. One's cracked, there's a baby hole in the other one. So to replace, Stark County Glass gave us a quote to replace these 6 windows down here. Glass and installation of $5,100. And then,
I thought it was gonna be a lot more than that.
well, that's just the glass and then they'll put
And
the
then
glass
install.
and caulk around it. They don't do a complete replacement. They'll just do the glass, use the existing frame. I had to call another company and I haven't seen that quote yet, but they did come out. They looked at it, took the measurements and they did tell us, they said, you know, Stark County Glass is gonna be your cheapest quote. They go, whatever they give you, probably triple it for us to replace these 6. So
That was kind of.
we're looking at maybe 20 to 25 potentially.
Well, yeah, well, is there something wrong with the frames?
They seem like that they'd be. That's,
I mean, in my lifetime, whenever we replaced glass.
Yeah.
We didn't do the frame, we just did the glass. And it was like $400 to $600 for bare windows and that was a while ago.
Right.
So that seems about right
Yeah.
in Stark County.
So I know that there was a gentleman who stopped by, I didn't know his name and I didn't even know what he was talking about to begin with, but he roundabout got to discussing these and the framing. So while they're in there working, of course, we'll want to have them take a look because he said when they put that facade on, changed it, that we need to make sure that it's, you know, it's maintaining its security, basically, how they built it. I don't know anything about that.
So wait, so we have to replace all 6 or we're just,
well, what they said, we've got a crack, we've got a bad one, and then these other ones, they're actually the double panes, they're letting moisture in.
Moisture.
So we got
So,
that one too.
yeah.
There's some water's coming in here.
Yeah, so it's one of those things we're gonna do.
so this wouldn't be double pane, it'd be single,
No, it'd be back to double, the tinted insulated glass,
so the same thing, just new.
brand new.
Are they like low argon to help energy efficiency?
I don't know anything about that, but
Oh, you know the difference. Trust me, if you stand here and the sun's coming through, you can feel the heat. If it's low argon, heat doesn't come through.
really,
Yeah,
Literally.
it had the same bronze tint that these currently do, everything built in.
Assuming the water didn't do any damage to the frame, the frame should be. But that's what, we don't know, there's been water coming in them though. I mean, they could, and this is what, 100-something-year-old building too, I don't know.
That's the thing when they put them on
You don't know.
to
until you
take a
yank them
look.
out.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
Fortunately, we wouldn't know until they
Yeah.
start coming out, if there
Yeah.
can be a little more, but.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm still waiting for the other quote from the other contractor, and I called about 3 or 4 other window companies. The majority window companies don't touch commercial buildings. And the few that said, yeah, we'd be interested, and as soon as they found out it was commercial and how big, then that's when they said, it's Stark County Glass is the place to do it.
yeah,
So-
who does windows, I don't know if you guys do that. She's done a few windows in her picture windows, right? Yeah.
So, yeah, so we'll wait for that other quote, but just to give you an idea, that's what Stark County Glass is quoting to replace those 6. And
You don't have to make a decision right now.
no, just wanted to keep you in the loop. I've been working with USR the last couple weeks about our ADA and Title VI plan. We've been going around starting to go over every building, take measurements and see what changes need to be made. So we'll be in the process of working up that to give us our plan of what needs to be done to get us in compliance moving forward with that. And then H&T, I know last meeting we discussed about approved a PO for 11,500 for electrical work in Norland Park. Spoke with Bob Harper, the owner of H&T, and he's doing all that work for free. So we got to rip up that quote or that PO, and they're taking care of us. So I want to definitely,
Great.
yeah,
So it cost no money to get it done.
$0.
Wow.
Big thanks to H&T. I mean, like,
Yeah.
they donated a lot of money and time though, so that was
Can
awesome.
you believe that, Don?
No.
Bob Burnett can't believe it either. He told me it was gonna be $100,000. Don't forget it. That's why I die.
That's the thing, you just ask.
It's the right person being
Yeah.
leadership, what it is. It's all about the right person asking the right questions and
Community.
driving to get it done.
Yeah. No, we're not profit, we're not a business.
Right. Good.
And then the last thing I have is I have two purchase orders, purchase order 2840 to Ozone Graphics for town wear for $848. And then purchase order 2842 to Town and Country Paving for our CCMG paving and sidewalk project this spring for the amount of $324,309.48.
2842.
Yes.
Still have 2841 on here too. Yeah, I like the catering for,
No, I,
do we want to do that one too?
yeah,
Let's do that one
put
too.
it in there if you don't mind. I'll read it aloud. We'll put it in your section.
2841,
20
yesterday's catering, what was the
Yep.
amount?
538.39.
538.39.
All right.
Make a motion, we approve POs 2840, 2841, and 2842.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hey, I also got a North Judson St. Pierre, North Judson baseball softball program. We did discuss this, didn't we?
No, it was sitting up there when I was putting stuff together, so that was received here at the town hall, I'm guessing.
Oh, they're just updating us on the progress.
Yep, I haven't read it yet.
Okay,
No, it's like they're looking for $6,000 to cover a scoreboard.
it says we would like to update you on our progress in improving our program field structures, equipment and concessions. We have recently been the recipients of the Hive grant from the Northern Indiana Community Foundation. We were awarded $2,000 that is to go directly to the scoreboard at our main field. In order to get this scoreboard up and running, we were quoted at $6,000. With the help of community sponsors, including Bailey's Discount Center, we have been able to obtain this amount and will be working to getting the board up and functional for the 2026 spring.
Yeah, I know we discussed that before. They've reached out to us with some quotes for two new scoreboards, one for that major league field and one for the T-ball field. So yeah, they're looking for our help to see if we would like to cover the cost of one of those scoreboards. I believe originally they said, yeah, for one was gonna be 6, so everything including installation 12 for 2 of them. So I don't know if that's something we would want to consider potentially.
Say it again, Joe.
It would be 12 then, it's 6 and 6, is what
Yes,
they need,
yeah.
okay.
6 and 6,
So one for the T-ball field
and one for the major league field.
Okay.
To replace the one that hasn't been functioning for 6-7 years. I know they did look into the used scoreboards that came from the high school originally. When they got their new ones that were in the Hill garage. I know the President Gray Max, by the time he started looking at all that stuff, there was a few boards inside that control boards for them that were broken, and by the time they were looking to replace those boards were obsolete, and it was kind of going to be going down that path to potentially get one of those boards up and running, $3,000 or $4,000 and you still have an old
Couldn't
board.
service it.
Yeah, that you'd be in the same boat if something broke. So that's when they decided to start looking down the other path about new scoreboards.
Well, the scoreboard they're replacing, that's the one when we were kids still,
Mhm.
isn't it? Oh my gosh.
Who's gets? And you?
Yeah,
Is it?
I
No.
think so. That's the
Yeah,
original
I
one,
think
I'm pretty
so.
Yeah,
sure.
I think that's the original one.
Wait, but they want to put one at the T-ball?
Yeah,
Yes.
T-ball field and Major League Field.
I played that, so they didn't even have a fence.
Yeah.
That's no fence.
What are we talking about? Who's gonna keep score? They keep score in those games, Joe?
Yes, I guess.
You're an
sometimes-
AU coach, do they keep score or not?
Yeah, sometimes they do, yeah. And then when they're looking to do tournament games, sometimes the tournament they keep score.
That's what it's for.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Wonder if beautification would split that 6 with us.
I was gonna say what kind of money they have park on that, you know?
Well, yeah, I was getting ready to bring up, this would be a great park board project kind of thing. too.
Yeah, so we've got, and that's where beautification, those basically are the dollars that they.
She does go on to say thank you for the $5,000 earlier this year.
Yeah.
So that's, we've already donated 5,000, but
Yeah, and we actually, I think, donated that, 2 years ago, and they finally just
sure.
took it, yeah. Actually collected the check.
Maybe that's something we should ask the park board if they're interested in.
Yeah, I can reach out to
Reach
them.
out and see if they want to split it with us so we can.
Sounds good. I'll talk to Nip and see what his thoughts are.
Yeah, see if they've got some, they're interested in sharing with them. Okay. Anything else on that?
No.
I also had jotted down here those, what about those library, boards out there? Has anybody talked to?
Yeah, from what I heard, they had a library meeting. They weren't really interested in moving them. Is the last I've heard about that.
So I think we just, speaking out there, I think
So-
we decided we don't put them in Ranfield. Not like they are because they look silly. And
They
they
make
don't,
more sense on the walking trail.
they don't, the justification of walking 5 feet reading again makes no sense. You want to do it, down a trail,
Right.
to me, that makes better sense, but what do you guys think? Alex, what do you
I
think?
think there's a grant,
I agree.
so I'll just say that. But I'm,
You mean as
you
far
know
as,
my opinion.
as far as them going out there, you
Yeah,
mean,
like-
like, they got put out there?
They said, oh, if I want to apply for another one, we could get another storyboard and put it out there at the park. Almost as if just,
And I believe, yeah, and I believe when they reached out to you too, they mentioned that if we wanted to get another grant to put on the walking trail, that they might be able to keep those updated, but since it would be an effort to kind of go out there and it's not behind, they don't know how well they could keep them updated.
Was the wool pulled over our eyes on this or what?
park board,
All part.
park board approved it.
This was kind of none of our, we found out late in the game, how should we say that? Once, the grant was already done and the storyboards were already here, we were asked to store them. And that's when.
Then put them in,
Yeah, that's when we found out about
How many, right?
20.
17 to 20.
Why do they always seem like they're so close?
They're
to
a
that?
pain.
Cause they are, we had to move because the slide,
Yeah, we moved a couple, we
It
taken
just
one
seems
out.
like they're jammed in that one area. When you drive past, you can look down and see like, oh, it's like, it feels like they need to be kind of pushed on where there isn't. Okay, well, if that's the case. We can't do anything with it right now. That's.
I'll mention to someone on the library board. Hey,
I would say it's not the highest priority, but it's still something like the opinion hasn't really changed.
Right.
And there's still that new factor to them, so. Our season is sort of dwindling down out there. We still have movies this Thursday. Reminder, that's on my
Those
notes.
come out every year and that permanent fixture.
Right there, but we've moved some. of them.
Yeah,
So
we've
it's
moved-
not
we've
the end of
moved
the year
some.
to move it.
And
Just the connectivity of that trail, the new trail being that whole, through the woods, you don't know where the next one is. It's like it just makes so much more
I
sense.
think it'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
would that be something, if we approach the library board about moving them and we cover the cost of someone removing them from Norway and reinstalling on the trail? Would we be interested in that when we approach them?
Doesn't affect me personally. Yeah, I mean.
I had no idea what it cost, so I'd be,
Facilitate the
totally
move.
be open to that idea.
Because I have a feeling that's-
Move all once, never have to worry about it.
And say like, it's not a project we're gonna do this year,
Right.
Yeah.
there's nobody's in any hurry to do it. But. I'm not gonna state it all over again.
I just said, I haven't heard anything since last time we talked about it.
Yeah, that's.
So there's any
No,
information.
no more new
I don't know anything about You know anything about it? You wanna tell us?
I just, Kelsey has mentioned that the, hole that they go into is cement. So that's difficult to move.
You're back.
We got a
Have you
backhoe.
met- have you met Kim?
Kim's got a backhoe and some can-do spirit.
We've got a fork truck that will lift that right out of there.
Yeah, we talked about it, and it would be a thing of that fall, you plant grass seed and grass grows. You don't even notice it at Norway. Like the circle with the ride at Midfish, you don't even notice that's.
All that stuff's gone now.
Yeah, so it's nature takes back
Yeah.
all that.
I mean, I can mention it
But-
to Kelsey and see.
Nothing immediate though, so it's just wanna come to sort of. Maybe it would work best to go to a meeting or go talk to Kelsey, somebody like yourself, that, hey, we got a great park development here that is ideal for this.
The representative.
Yeah, Benita. So Benita took it to him.
Never seen her at a meeting. So maybe we need to. bring that up. Maybe she can help us.
Maybe we talk about it with the park board too.
Yeah, I'm not. doing anything.
No, but
Wanna
it
bring
just,
it up because
it'll
We
fall
had
on
a
the
meeting
wayside.
or
if we
twice,
won't-
and we haven't
Yeah,
talked
I
about it in
got
2
you.
months. so
I
I'm gonna
got
bring
you.
it up again.
Yeah, I think the park board was good stuff.
Yeah.
Good.
You feel like,
So I'm the only one.
Yeah,
that was
No.
Philly when I did it.
No,
Yeah, I think the park board approved it. Once they approved it, they're just kind of like, it's okay.
I love the idea of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely love them, but
If there was like 10 around there, I think it'd be okay.
yes,
Probably 10 and they were spaced correctly. You'd never even know they were
they had
there.
them offset with the light.
It
poles,
feels
they're
like,
halfway through
yeah,
the light.
it just feels like.
Yeah. They were in the, like literally we had to be moved for safety, liability. And now we're hosting more events out there. There's more food trucks, there's more markets, there's more,
There you
food
go.
fest, all that stuff.
We felt it ever, which way.
Yeah.
Now you're making a point I didn't even think of. It's
And
just
it-
not the right spot for them.
It does.
Not the right.
It does such a service to our town park to get people engaged in it that way through the trail. And other trails, we're gonna do the whole trail system. If you want the town park, my goodness, it's
Yeah.
right
There's
for
a lot
that sort of
ground up
thing.
there to do that.
Yep.
All right, anybody else have any questions for Joe or anything? I got everything here.
Bill.
Bill, go ahead.
On this thing going back to the trails and those signposts. What you could do is put them in a spot. And take a picture, a short paragraph of what they're seeing. Like the wildlife or the fauna or whatever. And laminate that onto them. And then just go down by another 20, 30 feet and do the same thing, or 40.
So that's a whole other idea that could be entirely separate. That would be great for a science class to go see, to go
Yeah.
experience. These are themselves a story, but that's a kickoff to the rest of the trail system on the south side,
Yeah.
And what we plant in bioswales and, all those areas of the park that we want to develop.
Yeah, Bill.
I have another question. I remember a while back, we were talking about renaming the dog parks. Has that ever been done yet?
Yeah.
Is there a sign on it and everything now?
No, sure.
Stein is sitting right back there on that table.
We're waiting on metal to be able to install it.
There you go.
Okay. See what happens when I miss a lot of meetings?
Sleeping over there.
Playing catch up.
Okay, we're moving on. Legal update. Justin's not with us tonight. Anything for us that he left? No. Thank you. Additional business deemed necessary by the council. Josh is not here. Linda Banks? No. Ms. Linda Banks? Eric Lewandowski?
Nope. That's not.
Alex Swinburne? I don't have anything either. Payment of claims, July 8th through July 21st. In the amount of $173,010.01.
Make a motion, we pay those APVs.
All in favor?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Music color, what is?
Okay.
Frank, I'm gonna try to be off your list by the end of the week.
All right.